What if everything you've ever believed about success was a lie? What if the American dream, the world's greatest promise, wasn't built to free you, but to control you? Welcome to Lost Thrones, where forgotten truths rise again from the dust of history. Tonight, we uncover the secret side of the American dream, a story born in hope, but built on illusion. A dream that crossed oceans, shaped nations, and whispered to billions. Work hard, believe, you can be anything. But behind that whisper lies a silence filled with forgotten names, broken promises, and a truth that was never meant to be seen. So before we begin, ask yourself one question. If the dream was real, why does it keep slipping further away? Tap the like button if you believe truth deserves to be heard, and subscribe to Lost Thrones, where every story has two sides. And tonight, we reveal the one the world forgot. Chapter 1. The Myth of the American Dream. For generations, the world has been told a simple story, that in America, anyone can make it. That success is only a matter of effort, and that those who dream big will rise, no matter who they are or where they come from. It's a beautiful idea, a belief written into songs, movies, and classrooms, a shining symbol of hope that crossed oceans, turning the American dream into a global promise. But what if that promise was never meant for everyone? What if the dream was built not to unite, but to divide? Behind the glowing billboards and smiling faces, there lies a truth no one wants to see. A system designed not to lift all, but to keep most reaching forever. Because the dream was never just about freedom, it was about control. A story carefully told to make people believe in a ladder that only a few were ever allowed to climb. Every success we celebrate hides 1,000 silent failures, and every tale of triumph drowns out the voices of those who were promised everything and received nothing. So before we chase the dream any further, we must understand how it began and who truly wrote it. Chapter 2. Historical Roots of the American Dream. The idea of the American dream did not appear overnight. It was born centuries ago, in the restless hearts of those who crossed oceans, searching for something greater than survival. They came to the New World carrying faith, fear, and a promise whispered by the wind, that this land would reward anyone who dared to work, to fight, to dream. But from the very beginning, the dream was never equal. As settlers claimed land and built towns, others, indigenous tribes, enslaved people, and the poor, were written out of that same promise. For one man's dream to rise, another's often had to fall. The myth of opportunity grew stronger with time. From the frontier's open fields to the industrial age, the dream became a nation's heartbeat, beating with ambition, but also with denial. Every century added a new layer: gold rushes, factories, wars, revolutions, each shaping the illusion that anyone could rise, if only they tried hard enough. Yet beneath the hymns of freedom, the soil told another story, of those who built the empire but never owned it, of those whose names were erased to keep the dream shining. And as the nation grew richer and taller, a shadow began to grow beside it, a truth too dark to fit inside the dream itself. Chapter 3. The Dark Side of the American Dream. As the dream spread across generations, its shadow grew longer. Behind shining cities and endless opportunities, a quiet truth emerged. The American dream was not breaking. It was breaking people. For the few who reached the top, millions remained trapped below, working harder, earning less, chasing a promise that kept moving farther away. While 1% owned almost everything, the rest struggled to hold on to anything. Freedom turned into debt, ambition into pressure, and failure became personal blame. How can equality exist in a system designed to favor the few? How can opportunity be real when entire communities are built on exclusion? Minorities, immigrants, the working poor, they carry the weight of a dream that was never truly theirs. Behind every skyscraper, hands never touched the sky. Behind every success story, sacrifices history never recorded. Yet the dream kept shining, not through truth, but through illusion. And that illusion would become its greatest weapon. Chapter 4. The Illusion of Equal Opportunity. The dream survived, not because it was real, but because people were taught to believe it was. From childhood, stories, screens, and slogans repeated the same message: work hard, stay loyal, success will find you. But what if that message was never meant to free you, only to keep you chasing? The media turned ambition into obsession, selling an image of life so perfect it became impossible to reach. Every commercial, every movie, every smiling face on a billboard whispered the same command: keep running. Corporations turned the dream into a product, a car, a house, a logo, a lifestyle. Millions bought it with money they didn't have. Debt replaced opportunity. Comparison replaced contentment. The dream that once promised equality became the world's most powerful illusion. Because when people are busy chasing perfection, they never stop to question who's holding the finish line. And yet, every illusion has cracks. Behind the stories of success that inspire the world lie the untold struggles of those who fell trying to reach the same dream. Chapter 5. Success Stories versus Hidden Struggles. The world loves success stories. They are the fairy tales of our age, told again and again to remind us that anyone can rise if only they try hard enough. But behind every shining face on a magazine cover, countless others tried just as hard and vanished into silence. The system never tells their stories, because their failure might reveal the truth. Success was never a level field. Some were born with the key already in hand: the right family, the right passport, the right surname, while others spent their lives just trying to reach the door. And when they couldn't, the world called it lack of effort. The truth is bitter. Many self-made legends were built on invisible foundations: connections, inheritance, access, privilege, things that never shone in the documentary. Meanwhile, those who truly struggled became part of the background, their sweat feeding a system that celebrates only a few faces on stage. But history does not stay silent forever. There comes a moment when even the forgotten voices rise and remind the world: every throne built on injustice eventually trembles. Chapter 6. The Silent Revolt. Not every revolution begins with a gunshot. Some start quietly, in the hearts of people who simply decide, no more. America's history carries the echo of such silent revolts. Moments when the dream was questioned, when faith in the system began to fade. Factories that once promised hope became cages of exhaustion. Cities that glowed with freedom turned into mirrors of inequality. And yet, beneath the noise of advertisements and parades, something was shifting. The workers, the forgotten farmers, the small towns left behind by progress, they began to whisper the same truth. The dream was only for a few, and the rest were meant to applaud. No banners, no marching crowds, just a quiet disobedience, a refusal to believe the lie. That refusal was the beginning of awareness, one that would later rise as protest, rebellion, and a rethinking of what freedom really means. Because when truth awakens, even silence becomes a revolution. But revolutions, silent or loud, always meet resistance. And in the struggle that follows, the true nature of power is finally revealed. Chapter 7. The Power Behind the Curtain. Every empire hides a room where real power lives. Not in palaces, not in the White House, but behind the curtain, where shadows write the future. Since the birth of the American Republic, decisions have often been made not by those who represent the people, but by those who own the system. Bankers, industrialists, secret alliances, they shaped wars, markets, and minds while the world looked the other way. Names changed, faces vanished, but the throne behind the curtain never moved. It only grew smarter, quieter, invisible. They learned that true control doesn't come from force. It comes from belief. If you can shape what people believe, they will rule themselves for you. From hidden councils of wealth to think tanks scripting the next century, America's story of freedom was also a story of orchestration. But what happens when the illusion weakens? When people start seeing the strings that move their world? That is when history trembles, and truth begins to surface. Chapter 8. The Awakening. When illusions begin to break, the silence of centuries starts to tremble. People ask, was this dream ever ours? Or were we only taught to chase it while others owned it? Across the world, and even within America, a quiet revolution is rising, not of weapons, but of awareness. Those who once believed in the shining city on the hill are now questioning the foundation beneath it. From students buried under lifelong debt, to families crushed by medical bills, to workers lost in the endless grind, the truth is no longer hidden. The American dream is evolving. It is no longer about having more, but about being free again. In this awakening, people remember, success isn't found in skyscrapers. It's found in equality, justice, and dignity. The real revolution begins not when the system falls, but when the mind wakes up. And that awakening has already begun. Chapter 9. Redefining the Dream. Every great civilization reaches a moment of truth. A moment to ask itself, who are we now? And what do we truly believe in? For America, that moment is now. The old dream of endless growth, of success measured in gold, has left behind silence, disconnection, and exhaustion. But perhaps the true American dream was never about wealth or fame. It was about possibility. The possibility that anyone, no matter where they start, could rise, create, and be free. That dream can still live, but only if rebuilt on truth, empathy, and equality. Maybe it's not about making it to the top anymore, but about lifting others as we climb. The dream was never meant to belong to a few. It was meant for everyone. And if there's one thing history has shown, no empire, no illusion, no system can silence the human spirit for long. Perhaps the secret side of the American dream isn't dark at all. It's the part still becoming, the part waiting to be rewritten by those who dare to dream differently. Welcome to the awakening. Welcome to the truth behind the myth. Welcome to Lost Thrones. If this video challenged what you thought you knew, Like, share, and subscribe because every story has another side, and we're just getting started.